The honourable member for Highwood.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I'd like to start by saying it's truly an honour to be the elected representative for Highwood and have the opportunity to address this chamber in my maiden speech. I'd like to start by congratulating you on your appointment as Speaker. I have no doubt that you'll represent in the fair and impartial manner that is a tradition to the position. I also respectfully acknowledge that we are situated on Treaty 6 territory, traditional lands of First Nations and Métis people. Mr. Speaker, I'm a born and raised proud Albertan, son of a nurse and paramedic, Anne and Richard. My mother served for years in the healthcare industry at the Foothills Hospital, committing her life to the care of others for decades. My father was a graduate of Southern Alberta Institute of Technology's first ever paramedicine class. He was one of the principal owners of Stars Ambulance System, which eventually sold to the City of Calgary in 1971 and became the Calgary City EMS Service. He founded the Alberta Paramedics Professional Association and worked for years to have paramedics legislated into the Health Disciplines Act of Alberta. Their examples showed me on a daily basis the dedication and honor of our province's healthcare workers and the importance of an effective healthcare system. I was raised on a farm north of Cochrane, spending the early years of my life raising horses, cattle, and farming. After high school, I went on to work on a conventional drilling rig in northern Alberta, drilling exploratory wells in what is now the proven fields of Alberta's oil sands. I went back to school to SAIT to earn my Red Seal in a mechanical trade and worked through the ranks from journeyman to supervisor. The oil and gas industry gave me my start, and I know firsthand the value of the trades and the importance of the continued commitment to supporting young Albertans into apprenticeship and the skills trades. I continued my education and eventually became a project manager, design consultant, then eventually on to become a shareholder and a business owner. I know what it means to build a company and the pride of being an employer. I also know the pain of having to lay people off. I'm a proud father of 3 boys, Caden, Ty, and Tristan, and husband to my beautiful wife, Leanne. We chose Highwood to raise our children because of its strong sense of community, our family roots there, and the level of benevolence and charity that is ingrained in this community. Leanne and I are the custodians of the values our parents instilled in us, values we now strive daily to pass on to our children, small town values, such as respect, honor, and a strong work ethic. Together we are teaching them how these values build strong communities, and we hope to instill in them the morals that build character and lead to a fulfilled life. As a parent, I believe our focus should be on building a better future for our children. We need to provide for them a strong education, an education that will prepare them for the future. All Alberta children deserve a life of unlimited possibilities. Madam Speaker, the constituency of Highwood, due to the recent boundary review, has greatly changed since the Assembly last sat. Highwood now stretches east to the county of Vulcan, west to Kananaskis, and from the south edge of the City of Calgary, with the Bow River and Highway 22X as its northern border, to just south of Okotoks following 434th Ave. Highwood is very diverse, which I believe is truly representative of the qualities that make this province such a special place to live. It is an extraordinary region, a collection of wonderful communities, a great mix of urban, suburban, acreage, and rural, warm and welcoming. Within the constituency, we have 4 municipalities, which includes Foothills County, the town of Black Diamond, which derived its name from the rich coal mines that were abundant there in the early 1900s, Turner Valley, named after Rod and John Turner, who settled it in 1886, and Okotoks. Its name is derived from the Blackfoot word Okotok, meaning rock. The Blackfoot referred to this area as Okotok because of the big rock, which they used as a reference marker in their journeys. The importance of the area to the First Nations was that this area was a safe river crossing across the Sheep River, which dissects Okotoks. This big rock they referred to may be what Highwood is most known for. This famous glacial erratic, notably the largest in the world, was transported by a continental glacier during the last ice age from Mount Edith Cavell. It now rests at a flat plains area right in between Okotoks and Black Diamond Turner Valley. Madam Speaker, the first door I knocked on my campaign was that of a retired elderly lady in her 80s. Her husband had recently passed. She expressed to me how in the past her husband was the one that showed the most interest in discussing and debating politics, but she now felt that she could no longer sit idly by. Her and her husband spent their entire lives shaping this province, with the knowledge that the prosperity they worked towards would be passed on to future generations. But she saw the future they had worked for so hard eroding away. It should always be the inherent responsibility of every generation to pass on something better to the next generation, a future unhindered by regular deficits and a growing unmanageable debt. We need to reestablish our strong and free society so that our children have the same opportunities to thrive that we did when we were growing up. This responsibility now lies with us, right here, right now. As the campaign progressed, we knocked on thousands of doors and attended hundreds of events, and the needs of the residents of Highwood became even more clear. The need for jobs, accountability of taxpayers' dollars, and a fair deal for Alberta. Too many nights I returned home with a heavy heart, full of stories of families who had lost their jobs with no hope of new employment. Families that had exhausted their life savings and were wondering how they were going to make their next mortgage payment. The residents of Highwood have entrusted me to bring their voice to this government, and I'm truly honored to be elected the MLA for Highwood and share a list of names that includes Honourable George Greneville, Don Tanis, and George Wolstenholme. In my mind, there can be no doubt that the most important feature of the constituency is its people. Highwood has a sense of charity and community that embodies the true nature of Alberta's spirit. I have been proud to play a small part in a few of these, such as the Luca fundraiser for Luca, an infant diagnosed with a large tumor and in need of a blood transfusion. This is a community that bands together in time of difficulties. Madam Speaker, I believe above all else that the most valuable resource we have here in Alberta are the hardworking, caring residents that have chosen to live here. And that is why, Madam Speaker, I am pleased to support a throne speech that has a strong plan to restore jobs and renew our economy, a plan based on proven strategies and policies, a plan to restore low taxes to create jobs, growth, and encourage economic activity and increase revenues for the province. A plan that will once again make Alberta a safe place to start a business, invest, and raise a family. A throne speech that lays out a plan to end the punishing carbon tax so that life can once again be affordable for families, especially our seniors and those on fixed or low incomes. It is a throne speech that advocates for a fair deal for our energy sector, which is vital to Alberta. This key industry had its beginning in the Highwood community. On May 14, 1914, near Turner Valley, oil and gas first flowed from the Dingham No. 1 discovery well. The oil and gas industry for Alberta began on that day. This gas plant site is now an Alberta Historic Resource Site, and though it's no longer active, the oil and gas sectors continue to be important to Highwood as an employer of people and as a generator of wealth for this province. It is essential that we work to positively advocate for ethically and environmentally produced oil. It's time we dispel the lies and tell the world the truth about our energy sector. In addition to oil, Highwood is an economically diverse constituency, home to rich agriculture, cattle ranches, horses, farming, hobby farms, oil, gas, movie and filming sets, tourism, music, and art and culture. The natural beauty of Highwood has brought many filmmakers to the area to shoot their movies, starting with the film Northwest Stampede in 1947 to Silver Streak, Superman 2 and 3, and most recently the Netflix original Hell on Wheels. Our fertile lands produce top quality beef, chicken, pork, honey, and grain commodities. The area is a hub for horse breeders for racing, rodeo, jumping, polo, dressage, and day-to-day farming uses. It is not a surprise that our constituency is home to the Millerville Racetrack and Ag Society, Hebson Arena, and Calgary Polo Club, among others. However, Madam Speaker, even with all of our abundances, Highwood faces some serious challenges. In addition to the need for a strong economy, job creation, support for our natural resources and agriculture, and improvements to our healthcare and education, Highwood faces a critical water shortage and a continued high levels of rural crime. Highwood faces a similar crisis to that of all of Alberta, the need for a pipeline, in this case, a water pipeline. Due to the substantial growth through our communities, the access to additional water licenses has now become crucial to the sustainability of our area, not just to allow for the future residential growth, but to supply our commercial and business sector so that we can continue to expand our small town economies. This is crucial to keeping the tax costs down for our residents. Madam Speaker, I believe one of the most important duties of every government is to provide safety for its residents. I'm proud of our strategy to address rural crime so that residents will once again feel safe in their homes. I look forward to working diligently to gain the confidence of my constituents to show that this government has a plan that will make life safer for all of our rural areas. Thank you, Madam Speaker. It is an honor and a privilege to be here, and I look forward to representing the people of Highwood.
Here, here.